On a freezing winter night, four friends, Alyssa, Mark, Lucas, and Sophie, set out toward the northern forests of Appalachia. These forests, known for their eerie silence and untamed wilderness, were shrouded in tales of strange disappearances and whispered legends. Locals called it the Silent Forest, warning that those who entered often never returned or came back with their memories wiped clean. Driving through the winding roads, Mark scoffed, "It's all just nonsense. People who get lost here probably just wander off. That's it." Alyssa, shivering slightly, responded, "Still, why do these stories persist for so many years? There has to be something about this place." Lucas laughed. "Are you scared? We're here for an adventure, not to buy into old wives' tales." Sophie, staring quietly out of the window, remained silent, as if the weight of those stories was beginning to settle on her. When they arrived, the forest's entrance was veiled in a thick blanket of snow. A heavy silence hung over the trees, unnervingly absolute, as though the woods themselves were holding their breath. Stepping out of the car, they grabbed their gear and began their hike deeper into the forest. As they ventured further, Alyssa broke the silence. "Why is it so quiet here? No birds, no animals, nothing." Lucas grinned. "This is what peace sounds like. You wanted tranquility, right? Well, here it is." Hours passed, and they finally found a clearing suitable for their camp. Setting up their tents and lighting a fire, they tried to settle in. But as night descended, the forest's silence grew oppressive, almost alive. "I don't like this," Alyssa muttered under her breath. "It feels like we're being watched." Mark waved her off. "You're just spooked. There's no one here but us." Later that night, as they all lay in their tents, a blood-curdling scream pierced the stillness. It was Sophie. She sat upright, trembling. "I saw someone, standing right outside the tent," she cried, her face pale with terror. "What did you see?" Alyssa demanded. Sophie stammered. "A shadow. It wasn't human. Its face, it didn't have one. And its eyes, they were completely white." Mark groaned. It was just a nightmare. "Go back to sleep." But deep down, even he felt a growing unease. The next morning, as they packed up to continue their journey, strange tracks appeared in the snow around their campsite. The footprints were massive, far larger than any human could leave. Alyssa pointed at them. "Whose tracks are these? No one else is out here." Lucas chuckled nervously. "Probably just a bear or something. Let's keep moving." As they trekked deeper into the forest, they stumbled upon an old, decaying cabin, its roof sagging under the weight of years. Mark smirked. "Let's check it out. Maybe we'll find something cool." Inside, the air was stale and heavy. The walls were scratched with strange, unintelligible symbols, and on the floor lay a crumpled note. Alyssa hesitated before picking it up. The message, written in faded ink, read, "This forest is cursed. Leave now while you still can. If you stay, you'll never leave." "We need to go," Alyssa whispered. "This isn't a joke." As they turned to leave the cabin, the door slammed shut with an unnerving finality. A deep, guttural whisper filled the room, chilling them to their core. "You shouldn't have come here. Now, you belong to the forest." That night, strange noises surrounded their tents. Footsteps crunching in the snow, faint whispers, and the sound of something or someone circling them. Lucas unzipped the tent and stepped out, clutching his flashlight. "There's nothing here," he muttered, though his voice betrayed his fear. But when he returned to the tent, he froze. The others stared at him in horror. Written on the tent's inner wall in what looked like blood were the words, "Your days are numbered." The following day they tried to leave the forest, but every path they took led them back to the same spot, the decaying cabin. Sophie, now on the verge of breaking down, cried, "It's impossible. We're trapped here." Mark tried to calm her, but his own voice was trembling. "There has to be a way out. We just need to think." That night, the unthinkable happened. A shadowy figure appeared inside their tent. It was tall, featureless, and seemed to absorb the darkness around it. Alyssa screamed, "It's not human!" The figure leaned closer, and the air in the tent grew freezing cold. Before anyone could move, everything went black. Weeks later, a search and rescue team found their abandoned campsite. The tents were intact, but there was no sign of the four friends. All that remained was a single blood-stained note pinned to a tree. "The forest never lets anyone leave.